So that's it for today's proceeding, but on Friday at 11 o'clock things will be happening at St John's. There'll be a service in the church followed by a small presentation and ceremony that will take place on Tynwald Hill. And in the meantime, the public are being advised that they can put their flowers down there on the Tynwald walkway at St John's ahead of proceedings on Friday. Your memories of the Queen?
My memories are quite fond because I grew up in London and met her twice as a child at official functions. But more than that, really, my entire family were very much involved in the royalty. We used to go into the various celebrations of her reign, of the various royal weddings. My father was a serving policeman, so was obviously part of the protection for those. And also, certainly growing up in London, growing up in England, when there was a Jubilee, we'd have street parties and it would bring people together. And unfortunately, that's what we've seen over the last couple of days. Our nation, at the Isle of Man, being brought together with the sad death of Her Majesty and the loss of this consistency over decades. But also, as we've done today with the proclamation, the announcement of a new monarch, King Charles III, to give that consistency, to give that link with the past, but also that opportunity for the future.
I go back to George because I was in the cadet force at St Ninians and made my alliance then to him in the Army Cadets, you see. And that was why when I went to do my national service, I went into the RAF because I felt that was perhaps a little better than the Army. However, I stand corrected probably by His Excellency, who was an Army man, but that's the way it goes. But it's amazing how now when I look back and think that this will be now King Charles III, the third that I've been with. But it's the same as the governors. I think it's 5 or if not 6 governors I've served under, because I still have an allegiance to the Crown because, of course, I'm still captain of the parish of Santon, which I'm very proud of. And I think that's what it's all about. You know, you have met these people, and I always thought it was a privilege.
What about your memories of the Queen? Because you obviously met her a few times, haven't you?
Oh, indeed. In fact, it was always a pleasure, because I've heard many saying on the programmes, oh, I was very, very nervous. Do you know, I always felt the other way. She never, ever made you nervous. She made you feel at home. And, of course, with her husband, Philip, it was always a laugh in our family, because whenever I met them, Philip would always say, and how is the ambassador of Mann? How did you get on this trip? You see. And, of course, it was both Agriculture Minister, Treasury Minister and Chief Minister. So I'd met them all in those different offices. And as I say, it was always a pleasure to do so. I think one of the greatest moments was here in the Isle of Man when she came, and I was Agricultural Minister, and I had the privilege of escorting her around King George V Park. And I always have again a smashing memory of her, because she said to me, what are these sheep here? And she pulled me forward. Now, you're not allowed to be in head of Her Majesty or His Majesty. And I bent forward to explain to her that the Lochtons, they could have 4 horns, you know, and you had to cook them a little longer than normal because they were rather tough. And I was getting a tap on my ankle from the then governor because I had actually stepped in front of Her Majesty. These are super memories, and as I say, I never ever felt other than very, very much a pleasure.
And your thoughts on Prince Charles, now King Charles? You, again, would have met him many times.
Yes, I actually sat on the Britannia in the Bay here having dinner with Charles. And again, the memories come back to you. It was a wonderful occasion. And on that occasion, again, it showed the man had a responsibility, but something that he really wanted to say, and that was people. And as he looked from the Britannia deck up the pier, Victoria Pier, the barriers were all up, and the people were all kept, you know, away. And he said to me, what on earth are the barriers up? Tell somebody to get the barriers down and let the people come down the pier. they've come to see me, you know, and of course that's what they had come to see. And as I say, it's been a marvellous memory trip, to be honest. It's a long time, and I'm probably privileged to still be here with the third in office, and the allegiance is still there. Never been as much as my wife Joan. She is a royalist, and she has watched everything on television since it started, which was really on the midday when we thought then there was something seriously wrong. And as I say, it's something that you believe in or you like, and I do, and always have done, because while there's a royal family, I believe our freedom and the way in which we live will stay the same. And I just hope that she has instilled in her son Charles a lot during his apprenticeship, so that will remain, because that to me is so important.